Hi YouTube, it's me again. I am doing my third official video for my channel. It's going to be a first impression video. I recently ordered about 4 ounces of Hobbit's weed from Tewksbury Company. I had actually watched a video that Pip had put up on his channel, Pip's Pipery Practices, where he had sampled some and did a first impression, and it kind of got me curious. I don't smoke that many aromatics, and I had heard a lot of mixed, very polarizing opinions about Hobbit's weed. Some folks said that they thought it was a really good cherry aromatic, and others felt that it was a little bit strong, a little bit difficult to smoke. It even had some folks had went so far as to say that it was just, it tasted like smoking cough medicine, which is not a most favorable review. So I decided I would give it my own shot, see if I liked it or not. Again, I don't smoke that many aromatics, but I'm always up to trying new things. So because it is a Hobbit's weed and it is based off of the pipe weed smoked in the Lord of the Rings book, I'm going to be smoking it out of a no-name church warden style pipe. It's a cheap pipe I picked up, my only church warden. So we're going to pack this and smoke it. We're also going to smell the bag and all that happy stuff, because I'm going to decant it once we're done here. It smells like vanilla more than cherry. Very strong. I could actually smell it out of the box. So the box was wrapped and taped, and then this was sealed, and then it was wrapped in plastic inside the box. So I could smell it outside of all that. It's very fruity. To see what it tastes like. I'm doing the quick method of packing that I usually use, which is to just sort of scoop some out with the pipe and then tap out the excess and tamp down what's left in the bowl, and then repeat until we get a nice bowl worth. I hate using the phrase bowl. I'm packing a bowl, man. Living in Seattle and being surrounded by sort of like stoner culture, sort of, whenever I say that, I'm always concerned of how it's going to sound. Packing a bowl, bro. Wake and bake. Idiot. Just about top this off here. Give it a quick light and then see what happens. It's slightly cherry, but it does taste much more vanilla-y, at least to me. I have really high threshold for sweeter flavors. I notice them more, so maybe that's what it is. It's not as, it smells stronger than it tastes, that's for sure. The only other aromatic I have any long-term smoking experience with is Sleepy Hollow, which is blended by Strauss Tobacconists in Florence, I think, Kentucky, and Cincinnati, Ohio. And this smells kind of similar. But doesn't taste as strongly. I don't know. Smells good. It's really heavy on the vanilla. I didn't really read much about what was in the blend because I typically don't like to know too much when I try something like this, because I don't want to be like, oh, it's Latakia and Perique and this. And I'm really familiar with that because I've sort of preconditioned myself to recognize it. As it goes down the bowl, sort of kind of transitions into maybe like Pip had said in his video that he had noticed that it started off with a sort of sweeter vanilla-y taste. I think he said vanilla. And then it sort of slowly transitioned into a sort of like a lozengey flavor. I can tell I'm gonna have to sip at it because already I'm getting it's getting hot in the bowl. Not that this pipe is particularly doesn't keep very cool. Like I said, it's sort of a no-name. It's kind of very thin wall, so it heats up pretty quick anyway, regardless of what you're smoking in it. It's kind of peppery, a little bit. I do get the cherry a little more on the side of my tongue. Sort of drawing across. I'm going to finish this. Sort of see how the remainder of the bowl smokes and then segue that in towards the end here. Okay, so now that I've smoked most of this bowl, most of this pipe, it's not a bowl, it's a pipe, something you'll learn. I don't like the phrase bowl. I don't like the phrase yabo. I don't begrudge anybody else that says, you know, yabo, or even that says smoking a bowl. I just prefer not to say them myself, you know. After having smoked most of this pipe, I haven't had to relight it really. Just a touch of the match just now. And I got up and did some other things. Decanted it into a jar, which is clearly my preferred method of storage. Now that I've sort of experienced it a little bit more thoroughly, I'm getting mostly a creamy, very subtle creamy flavor. Not heavy, not overbearing. My first experience with an aromatic was terrible. It was Sir Walter Raleigh's aromatic. My Uncle Dan smoked it when I was a kid. It's actually how I got into pipe smoking. I had always been fond of my uncle when I was a kid, and he smoked a pipe, and it had this really heavy smell that I always associated with like a wood-burning stove. I always really liked the smell. And when I got older and actually started looking into picking this up as a hobby, I had reached out to him and asked him what he had smoked, and he said it was Sir Walter Raleigh's aromatic. So I got a pouch of that. A lot of people like it. A lot of people say it's really flavorful, it's really easy to smoke. I believe that. It is very easy to smoke. It generates a lot of smoke. Of course, after I said I haven't had to light this that much, now I'm having trouble keeping it lit. There we go. Getting some gurgle too. But it is slightly creamy, slightly fruity, smooth, not unpleasant, not overbearing. When I unpacked that pouch of Sir Walter Raleigh's aromatic that I was talking about, it overwhelmed me. The smell was so intense out of the pouch. It smelled like a really heavy, like somebody had dumped vanilla extract in the pouch. Gurgling. And when I lit it, the whole room just filled with this heavy, thick, dense white cloud of smoke. And it smelled... I don't say that it smelled terrible. If it hadn't been so strong, so intense of a smell, so thick of a smell, and it hadn't filled the room so quickly, I might have considered it pleasant. If it had been like a candle. But there was no flavor at all. It tasted like burley. Just flat burley tobacco. Not even good burley tobacco, like cheap burley. Cheap, boring burley. All by its lonesome. I had to throw it out. Because just the waft, because after that first night, it made me nauseous and made me dizzy. And after that first smoke, just having the pouch in the house was... I had if I caught a whiff of it, my head started to spin again. I think I'm going to keep smoking this in different pipes. over the next couple weeks, maybe a couple of bowls a week, a couple of pipes a week. I'll break myself with that habit. A couple of pipes a week, different pipes, different times a day. Sort of adjust my palate to it and see if maybe I can't distinguish a little bit more out of it. So far, it's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. Tewksbury Company, like, normally I wouldn't consider getting this again because of, I don't know if anybody's ever bought this, but there's quite a, like, almost a rigorous, it's practically an FBI screening process to get a hold of this stuff. You have to pay for the shipment. You have to pay the for the tobacco. You have to pay for the delivery, and you have to pay the cost of having an adult sign for it. But because, fortunately, I'd actually got kind of lucky with that, actually, because Tewksbury and Company didn't have it when I ordered it. They had received all of the tobaccos they needed to blend it, except one of the chief components, and so they couldn't blend any. So it held my order back. According to him, it's the first time, one of the only times they've been out of stock since 1973. And because of that delay, I think they felt bad. So they charged me for, when I first paid for it, they charged me the full price, including the shipping and everything, and then the adult signing fee, but then they waived the adult signing fee by virtue of leaving $5 in a Ziploc bag in the box. Which is a nice gesture. Yeah, it was, I think I could smoke this regularly. I'm not sure. I'll have to see what happens as I've smoked it a little bit more, but that's my first impression of Tewksbury and Company's Hobbit's weed. And if I'm actually I'll leave a link in the bottom as well to Pip's first impressions of it, because he has a really good, he smokes more aromatics than I do, so I think he has a much better gauge for aromatics than I do, and maybe a more refined palate for it. So if you're really, really curious as to what it tastes like, that might be a better way to get an idea. And then I think later on what I'll do is I will keep smoking this and sort of make notes of what I'm tasting, and then share sort of like a final decision. I mean, I have 4 ounces, so it's going to last quite a while. But I should be able to get something out of it. And maybe, you know, get below the aromatic layer and find out what everybody's so excited about. I will say the relight is fantastic. You get a really sudden, if you don't keep the fire on it too long, you get a really sudden burst of sort of that sugary pseudo cherry vanilla flavor. Anyway, Tewksbury & Company, Hobbit's weed. You should try it at least once. I think you should try everything at least once. And see if you like it. Maybe post a video. Let us know what you think. Thanks for watching.